Welcome to what might be the worst BMW I've ever bought. But before we get into this disaster, if you missed the Lexus GS 430 build series, Dave's turning that unsuspecting luxury sedan into a full-blown M5 killer. And if he's building the rival, naturally I had to buy the real thing. So I went out and picked up this V10 powered E60 M5 for just 10,000 Canadian dollars, or about 7,300 US dollars, which sounds like the deal of a lifetime until you remember there's nothing more expensive than a cheap BMW. So did I uncover the bargain performance sedan of the century, or did I just buy myself a complete mechanical nightmare? So let's check this thing out together. And the first thing you will notice, this is not a factory BMW color. No, someone has had the great idea of wrapping it in this yellow, neon yellow color. I'm not exactly sure. And what they did is they covered up a beautiful carbon hood here. No, not at all. This also has a fake carbon fiber vinyl wrap on the hood and the roof. Quick giveaway, this car is this, I think, Silverstone 2 color, which is actually quite a nice color. So someone definitely did a full number on it, which we will remove in the future. And I think we're not gonna be satisfied with what we find underneath. I can tell you right now, there are some bubbles here from rust, which is never a good thing to see. The front bumper here has also been hit, so it's got a little bit of damage. And up front, the headlights have seen better days. Man, these are fully cloudy. This one is actually worse than the other side. It is just fully nuked. Of course, this, can I straighten? Oh, this is, I don't even need to adjust this. Look at the job they did here. There is a bunch of tape holding this thing on, the front license plate holder. And you'll notice there was a theme going with the vinyl, and that is this like black and yellow. So there are black accents all over this car, including the door handles, as you guys just saw, the mirror covers, and in the trunk area, same thing. There is around the tips here and this like lower diffuser, there is some black there. The interior might be the best part of this car because it is in pretty decent shape, at least the leather is. However, we do have some issues. The dash itself, which is leather wrapped, always a great option to have in an M car, is unfortunately cracked. And the most apparent thing is I think an audio system is actually missing. There is nothing here. There is no knob. In the rear here, you can see we have some upgrades. Oh, the stereo. I can guarantee this probably isn't working or something is wrong with it, which is why it's out here. And you can see these are the factory intakes that have been replaced with a set of K&N ones, which we will look at in a second. And this looks to be the OEM entertainment unit for the iDrive. So that unit there must be an aftermarket one. And what do I see back here? Yes, I'm up a puzzle. Look at this thing. 9 plus 300 pieces. This is maybe all complete, which is about the only thing that is complete on this car. And it does have the privacy shades, which are also a good one. Oh, a little rip there. Not sure what kind of treasure we're gonna find in here, but first, look at this. Look at, this is one of the first BMWs I've had that has this kind of trunk release. Look at that. Oh my God. Somebody was a connoisseur of the records here. DP, this actually, these might be worth some money.
It might be.
These might be worth some money. Look at all this.
Weird to leave all that in the trunk.
Holy smokes, man.
That's random.
There's a metric ton of them. Random spacer in here, of course. Some engine oil, which is always a BMW trait. And wow, yeah, that's it. At least we've got a genuine BMW battery. It doesn't look like it's being held down by anything. And let's see over here. We've got a 4-wire flat tester, some Morettes, a wrench for a BMW. I don't know if an adjustable does anything in there. A fuse kit, that is not a good sign. And oh, some connectors. Oh, and a random bolt. Is this a BMW bolt? It is a Honda. What? Oh wow, this is
a true enthusiast.
Yes, yeah, there you go. He's got good taste. Hondas and BMWs. Of course, everyone will be dying to know whether this thing has the toolkit. Place your bets. I definitely don't. Maybe. Let's see. Oh, no. Well, look, it's got the tow hook. It's got one of the wrenches, so, you know, it's kind of there.
All right, yeah.
It's kind of there. This right here is why people buy these M5s, because this is an S85 V10 F1 inspired engine, and it makes glorious intake and exhaust noises. However, I'm not so sure this one is living up to its full potential. We do have a check engine light on. You can see it has a set of K&N Typhoon intakes that haven't been oiled, I think, in ages. The mileage on this car is also 124,000 kilometers, so I think like around 90,000 miles, and I have no service records on it. So I don't know if the rod bearings have been done. I don't know if the actuators have been done. I don't know anything. But what I can tell you right now is what I do like, there is not a speck of rust, which is fantastic for me because I'd rather deal with a car that has mechanical issues than rust issues. However, there are some weird covers, I think some plastic covers that would be covering these pieces here that are missing. I think these are igniters, but who knows? We will have to go do a deep dive on this thing in the future. Starts pretty good. However, we do have a check engine light. I also did see an SOS light with a cross through it, which I think means the emergency call button doesn't work. It's tire pressure sensor light. There is a whole lot of stuff. The one thing though is the SMG currently works, which is a miracle because these do go out, and we'll show you how that drives in a second, but let's get this thing up on the hoist here. Let's start with the exhaust system here, and unlike Dave's GS that was absolutely butchered with the muffler delete, this is actually a really good job. Like, the welds on this look phenomenal. The bracing looks great. The tip choice, not my personal favorite, but it lines up right in the middle. This is actually really well done. And nothing apparent to see with the suspension other than there's no rust, which is, again, such a great thing to see. The diff is not leaking, and everything else is covered with plastic under trays. The underpan here is not wet. So let's take this off and have a closer look at the engine. So I did lie, we have what is I don't even call this a leak. This is sweating from the SMG gearbox. And for those of you that don't know what an SMG is, it's basically a manual gearbox that's shifted with paddles automatically. So you don't need a clutch, which is super cool. However, in stop and go traffic and slow speed situations, it doesn't work very well. I'll show you that in a moment when we go for a test drive. But I'm happy to say we have ourselves a non-leaking BMW. I don't see any oil from the oil pan. I don't see any oil around here. This is remarkable. DP, did I get a hidden gem here? However, the tires themselves are absolutely junk, fully dry rotted, so we're not gonna be able to drive this thing too fast, but the brakes themselves, they've got a bit of a lip. The pads look like they're worn, and the suspension itself is looking like it hasn't been done in a while. I don't see any major, there's a bit of a crack in this arm here. I can see right there in the bushing, but that's typical BMW stuff. And this is a first for me here. I have never seen EGT probes on a BMW before. That is a new one. So these do read exhaust temperature after the CAT. I can see there's a pre-CAT O2 sensor and a post-CAT O2 sensor. I'm really hoping one of these things isn't the cause of the check engine light because they're very expensive to replace. So let's let's have a quick look at the ECU and all of the fault codes, and oh my goodness, are there ever a lot of them here. We basically have more warning signs than check marks. And let's see, engine system, we have 7 codes here. Let's see, what do we got? Fuel cap, okay, secondary air system, misfire, uh-oh, battery management, not good, catalytic converter conversion, bank 1, that is definitely not good, and catalytic conversion, bank 2, and a DMTL leak detection, which I have no idea what that is. And let's see what our transmission looks like. We have a rain light sensor missing, supply voltage not good, these are all history, which is good, steering angle is faulty, and no message from the instrument panel, just wonderful, holy smokes. ABS is next, let's see what it's got. Battery voltage too low, airbag sensor, airbag sensor, airbag sensor, oh boy, that is not good. Man, head airbag, front passenger, maybe the airbags weren't installed, maybe this car was actually crashed, who knows, but that is a metric ton of issues that we have. Parking distance warning system sounds like it's got problems. Oh, our EDC, so it's got faults in the suspension. So this has electronic dampening control. Right rear's not working. What else we got? Speed sensor's not working. Oh man, wow. Well, this certainly sounds like a BMW. My goodness, there is a lot of issues here. Given all of those battery codes, I think we are actually going to replace this battery with a fresh one. There you can see it is from 2018, so it's probably time we put the right battery in. And in its place, we have a Pro Series XD AGM battery. And the AGM battery actually means it's got better cold cranking amps. It's an overall more reliable battery. This one features a 5-year warranty versus the conventional ones that do come with a 3-year warranty. So this is certainly the better upgrade for vehicles with a standard battery coated. And it is now time for a test drive. And this is the first time I think I've ever been this nervous about driving a car. Considering all of the issues this vehicle has, this test drive is going to be an interesting one. So what could go wrong, DP? You know, rod bearings, throttle actuators, the dry rotted tires, one explodes, puts me into a ditch here.
All of the above, yes.
You know, I'm feeling a little nervous.
This is part of the BMW life, Peter.
Let's get this.
You're a veteran.
I know. Well, this one's particularly scary, but let's get this thing started off with the SMG gearbox. And this is a love-hate relationship for a lot of M5 owners because the shifts are so delayed. So if I'm driving right now and I shift, you can see my foot is on the pedal there. See how slow and lazy that feels?
It is.
And this is already, this is in manual mode. So downshifts are actually not that bad.
Yeah,
as you can see,
Yeah.
they feel kind of nice. But when you drive this thing and you want to shift, like here's 1, 2. Feel that, and we're in.
Yes.
Now, the way you're supposed to drive this is lift, shift, let it go, back on the gas, and now it feels smooth. So
smoother.
Truly like engaging
Still
a
slow,
manual
but
gearbox.
at least it's smooth.
Yeah. So it's certainly a technique if you want to do that, or you can kind of like live with those slow shifts and learn. It just feels a little antiquated, right? But this is the first version of what would be BMW's, like DCT and all that stuff. So it is a little but you know what? Like, listen to the sound.
Does sound good.
If you drive it harder, you can see I'm flooring a little bit more. It works a little bit better. So the fact is that this thing does not love slow speed and traffic.
Right.
So that is like the SMG's huge downfall. But when you, I think, drive it in a proper manner, it certainly feels better, right?
Yeah.
So
you just got to beat on your M5 everywhere. That's the
exactly.
solution.
And this thing already gets atrocious gas mileage as it is. So now you really got to be flooring it everywhere. So. Are we ready to give this thing a pull, DP?
Well,
are we ready? I'm a little nervous.
Let's see what happens.
But we're gonna go, I think you have to go power mode.
Okay.
So we're gonna do that, and I am going to turn traction control off here, which I know is a little scary.
These tires?
All right, I'm gonna lean into this thing. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh my God.
What was that?
That was the gearbox at full tilt, probably the transmission bushings or something. So I gotta turn this thing down, but holy Jesus.
It felt like it hit the bottom of the car, right?
Yeah. It's just the shifts are so violent.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, though.
It's got some power, though. Holy cow.
See, and then like feel how lazy the gearbox is. Man, the gearbox is literally the Achilles heel on this thing.
Yes.
So it's got good power.
Oh, it's got great power, and it sounds amazing.
It feels good. It sounds amazing, but oh my God.
It does feel like it might want to kill itself, though.
I thought we were going to drop a transmission there.
It's semi-suicidal there. Wow, it's tire spin.
Oh, see. Oh my God.
I'm nervous for you, PT. This car's giving me anxiety, and I don't even care about it.
Living with the E90 M3 and jumping into this,
yeah, wow.
The gearbox and this, like the E90 is just like bang, bang,
so
bang
good.
with this. Like, that is insane.
What a difference between an SMG and a DCT. It is like going from the dark ages to modern times.
Wow.
But what a motor. I mean, it sounds phenomenal.
It really does.
It pulls
really
strong.
Does. Yeah. So,
I mean, that's a good sign that it's making good power.
Agreed.
Seems healthy in that
With
regard.
all these check engine lights on.
I know. It's like, why is it running so well? It makes no sense to me, but, you know, maybe this is the one BMW that just likes to party, and we'll hope that it stays that way.
I mean, just listen to the downshift and
God, it sounds good.
Oh God, it does sound good.
Man.
I can't stop complaining about this gearbox. I've never experienced one like this.
So what is the solution then? Manual swapping? Do you guys manual swap these?
Yeah, they do manual swap it.
And is that what you're going to ruin my life with then?
No. We are not going there, DP. I want your GS to have a fair chance.
Yeah, good
so
man.
We're going, antiquated manual / automatic versus your automatic.
My true slash box. Yeah. Give me a chance. I agree.
So it survived its first drive. Man, I don't know what to say other than it's a project and a big one, but you guys are gonna have to stay tuned as I work my way through this thing because there is a lot to get done. However, I'm still confident this thing is going to whoop up on that GS 430. So you guys will have to stay tuned for future episodes on this one. They are coming very, very soon. And as always, if you guys enjoy the content, certainly think about giving us a like and a subscribe or support us through our merch store, which will be linked in the description.